Hey everyone. Uh, well, I'm taking my last load of stuff to our storage unit, and I'm sitting here waiting for a store to open up right now. And I thought I'd just give you a few tips, um, or share with you what we have done in our move to downsize. And we basically we had a pretty big house. They had 2,200 square feet, 1,000 square foot attic that we used as storage, and an 800 square foot basement that we used as our shop. Put our house on the market, and within 2 weeks it sold. So we asked the new buyers for 30 days to get out of there. Now, it had always been our idea to go ahead and get a smaller place. So about a year before we decided to sell the place, we started clearing things out, going through things, making decisions on what we really didn't need anymore, um, and got rid of a lot of stuff prior to putting the house on the market. Well, when the house sold, my wife was also doing packing before the house got put on the market, so we were maybe a third of the way there already. So what we did is, since the houses are 90 miles away from each other, um, we decided to get a local storage unit at the place we were living in at the time, at the house we sold. It would just help us get things out of there a lot quicker. Wouldn't have to worry about driving 90 miles to get stuff out of there. There was no way all this stuff was going to fit in the house. It's just not. So what we did is we got our storage unit at our old house. We started packing things up, moving a lot of stuff. A lot of my construction equipment it was in there. A lot of stuff we just knew we weren't going to even need till next summer, because it was the end of the summer, beginning of fall when we sold the house. And started moving things over there. We boxed things up and we set things aside that definitely had to come to the new house. We, like some clothes for a few weeks for each of us. Uh, all our food, our deep freezer came with us on the first haul. And then we packed up a lot of our cabinets, obviously our bed, but a lot of the dresser drawers, cabinets, shelves, that type of thing. We really didn't worry a whole lot about the stuff that would go in them later. We basically just brought a lot of the big stuff, and that helped us because we could kind of find places where they needed to go without tripping over the boxes of stuff that would go in them. So that was helpful to us. And then what we did is, once we got everything set up and fairly well unpacked, we started making more trips back to the old house where we had storage, and bringing a few trips at a time to the new house. Just kind of going through things and picking through things that would go in the house. We had a place for it to go now, rather than having, like I said, to deal with those things kicking around the house. So we would bring those things next, and then we got to a point about a month after we moved in the house, that I was going to need to start bringing stuff that would have to go into storage. So we rented another storage unit. The old one was 10 by 30, so I rented a 10 by 20 down here at the new place. So then I would load up the van again, maybe one trip a week, and we would go through things at storage, decide what was going to stay at storage, and decide what could come into the new house. So this was great for us. It took about 8 trips, and it was a lot of driving, once a week, sometimes twice a week, but man, it was really worth it. We weren't overwhelmed with stuff at any time, at any place. It worked out really well for us. It was like 2 months of extra storage. But we know where everything is now, and it gave us a chance to decide what's going in the house right now and what needs to go into storage. So hopefully we can go through some things at the storage container and maybe break that down even further. One of the bigger projects that we're going to do on our homestead is build a shop area, because we're working out of a converted 12 by 12 shed right now, and it's not convenient, but we can make it work with the work that we're doing and the work that I can choose to do. Some other projects I'll have to put off until the spring, but fortunately I've got some great customers that are willing to wait for us, so that's all good. But anyway, I'm hoping to get a 24 by 40 building up. The north side of that building faces the road, and that's going to be the half of that half is going to be the shop area, and then we're going to have the back half that faces south, also faces the creek, the woods, and our valley. We're going to turn that into a greenhouse. Our long-range plan is to get into market gardening. But this year, I think we'll just concentrate on getting the shop and greenhouse built. We are gonna do a pretty good-sized garden this year that'll more than take care of us. It's just the two of us now, me and my wife. Kids are grown up, so we don't need a huge garden. It's going to be pretty substantial though, because we like to can our own spaghetti sauces. There's a lot of stuff we'll do, and hopefully you'll subscribe, stick around, and watch what we do on this property. But I think as far as getting into market gardening, there's still a lot of stuff that we need to learn about it. I'm studying a lot about it. There is, there's a lot to do to the property to get it ready for that. We have what's called clay silt soil. So this 2018 is going to be about learning how to deal with that, basically, with our own gardens, and then prepping the soil for a 2019 startup. The other reason we're not going to try to rush into something like that is there's relationships to build. We're, like I said, 90 miles away from where we lived previously. We're not too close to any family or any ties like that. They're all a state away, at least one state away. So those relationships have to be built up and made, and we've got a lot to learn about this particular property, because all the other properties we've had just great black soil, and it's not the case on this one. So I expect a learning curve to happen there, and we're just going to let that happen next year, and then overcome the things that we have to learn about, and take it from there. But anyway, I just wanted to share our way of moving and trying to get downsized. You know, when you're cramped on space and things of that nature, sometimes you got to get a little creative to be able to deal with things. And this worked out great for us, and I would highly recommend it. It just really gives you a lot of time and space to deal with what you're getting into. If I had a big barn or something like that on the property, obviously this wouldn't be an issue. It would have all just gone there in a great big moving van, and that was it. But it wasn't the case for us, but it's still possible, and this is how we did it. We're going to have to pay some storage fees for a little bit, maybe a year or so, but it's still doable. And I just thought I'd share with you how we overcame the space issue, and hopefully that'll be helpful to some of you guys out there. So I think that's it. I think my store's open now, and I can go take care of what I got to take care of there. And we're probably going to take a little walk around on the land later, and I'll try to post a video of that as well. It's kind of nice to see the layout of the land when all the trees and stuff is shed. The greenery, you can actually see the ground and see the contours and the way the land works. We're kind of on a hillside with a lot of trees, so while you can kind of get a good idea of what's out there, it's really nice now because you can see through the trees and actually see what's going on with the property. And we want to cut some trails and things like that to make getting around a little bit easier, and find a good spot to put pigs, and find a good spot to put all sorts of different livestock. So this is the time for us to go do that. But stick around, subscribe if you haven't, and if you have, thanks, and we'll talk to you later.